Osmosis, a three-pointer, looking to continue a career day, and she knocks it down.
Gets the fast break layup and one.
From the studios of 95.7 The Spin.
Who lays it up and in through the contact of Baylor. What a finish from Emma DeHart. Wasn't even looking at the basket when she threw it up.
Back-to-back three-pointers off back-to-back possessions for the Screaming Eagles.
It's the Stein Show with USI women's basketball head coach Rick Stein.
Lays it up and in, Addie Blackwell, and one.
Episode 7 of The Stein Show, presented by 95.7 The Spin. My name is Nathaniel Barbie, the host of the Coaches Show with USI head women's basketball coach Rick Stein. In this episode, we have a special guest once again. This time, it's the sophomore forward for USI women's basketball team, Hannah Haithcock. Hannah was a big threat to all the teams down low in the post. She scored an average of 11 points per game, and she was also a threat down low, getting defensive rebounds, average 5 rebounds a game, one of the top for the team. She scored a lot of points last year, nearly 300 points, third best on the team. We're going to get some insight from her about her great freshman season, along with some accolades she had last season. We're going to talk a little bit about how she's going to make an impact this season. I've got them both coming up right now, and we'll start the Stein Show right away. Welcome, Coach Stein and Hannah, special guest for this episode of the Stein Show. I want to thank you both for joining once again for episode 7. My first question will go for Hannah. Could you give us a rundown of the recruitment process with USI?
So I worked with Tom Dart, which is a recruiter guy, and he communicated to schools and me to draw some connections, and we connected with Coach Dallas or Gatling. And, so I began to communicate with her, and she just expressed her interest in me coming to visit. So, and then I visited, and I met Coach Stein and Coach Karp and Coach Nemo, who was here. And, we talked. I looked at the campus, and then from there, it just was meant to be, and it happened. So it was pretty quick for me, and it was very efficient.
And Coach Stein, how long have you had your eyes on recruiting Hannah?
Yeah, actually, like Hannah said, Coach G was in on her, for a while, and in that recruiting process, I obviously. Both Coach G and Coach Karp generally are doing a lot of the initial stuff, and then we kind of get moving from there. I can tell you I liked Hannah right away. Just one of the things that when you see her play and then you see a stat sheet, sometimes you're like, wow, man, how she ended up with big numbers, and she did it like simply or quietly or something. It was like, all of a sudden she just had, she had a lot of points, she ends up with a lot of rebounds, she ends up with a lot of stuff and good stuff, that really matter. And outside of some of the other things she brings, but that stat sheet, production is a really important word, and I think that's one of the things that Hannah did, and it certainly opened up, all of our eyes in recruiting, and said, she's a producer and can produce in a lot of different ways. And I think you saw it last year as a freshman here. She came in and produced right away, and certainly, it's always fun when obviously when you recruit and you bring in really good players and really good students, and outstanding people. And I certainly think Hannah fits all those boats right there, and is off to a great start for us.
And Hannah, were there other offers for you to come play basketball, or was it just always USI?
I had 2 other offers, but after visiting USI, I automatically knew. So there really wasn't any competition there, but I did have 2, so.
Coach Stein, did you expect Hannah to make this big of an impact for the team?
It's hard to say, Nate, and we've talked about this before with incoming freshmen. It's hard to tell. Obviously, we recruit all of our players to come in and make a difference. We want them to know, and players who are recruiting now to know that you don't have to wait around to your junior year to make a difference on our basketball team. Senior year, okay, now you'll be good. It doesn't work that way, obviously, but it's a jump, and Hannah could tell you, how the jump was for her more than I could, but but certainly when you go from being the oldest in the gym, and being a senior to the youngest in the gym and being a freshman, and we bring in freshmen 17, 18 years old, and they're playing against not only 19, 20-year-olds, but 21, 22-year-olds, and there's a major obviously culture. There's a major shock when it comes to, wow, this game is big, this game's physical, it's fast, it's faster, there's a lot more going on, they're asking me to do more, and so you really never know how it's going to happen, but obviously not shocked, because we knew Hannah was good, and we certainly thought she could come in here and help us right away. To what extent we didn't know, and obviously proved to be a major factor in production, just like we talked about in high school, and a major factor in a lot of W's, and having a chance to compete at I think in the toughest schedule that was out there, one of the toughest in the country, toughest in our region for sure, and certainly helped us to be in an NCAA tournament. So a lot of good stuff, a lot of fun stuff, and a lot of growth from Hannah throughout the year for sure.
Starter as a freshman in college, and also was a part of the all-freshman team in the GLVC. How big of an accomplishment is that for you, Hannah?
I would say it's huge. We work hard all year long. We work our butts off every single day. So I feel like it was definitely just like kind of like a pat on the back, like, yes, I did that every single day with my team, with my coaches, and it paid off. So, it was definitely huge, and I'm very, very grateful for it. So.
And Coach Stein, what are some of the things you'd like to highlight about Hannah as a player?
Yeah, there's a lot. Here's the thing. When I think back to last year, and I think back to the start of our year in late August or early September, whatever it was, and we started individual workouts, and just knowing how young our basketball team was and how new it was, and knowing even at that time how important our younger players were really going to be, because we were young, and there was no way around it. We're going to be counting on them. But I just said a second ago, Hannah's growth from start to finish was amazing. I hope amazing is an okay word, because I think it really was. When she first got here, the learning curve was big, and at the same time the competitive level was big, and how do you fit and mold into whatever role you're going to play, and that's not easy to do. It's not easy to do for anybody, and what I liked about Hannah was every day she came ready to work. She came ready to get better. We had to get more out of her. We asked her to do more than maybe she had done. And that's what we'd say about any player that comes here. We're going to ask them to do a little bit more, work harder than they ever have. And if they do, good things are going to happen. Hannah was up for the challenge, that's the good thing. She was up for it. And every single day, I think her growth early was pretty amazing. She took jumps and her how she grew as a basketball player, and as an athlete, her strength and all those things. She took it serious. Not only, hey man, it's time to play ball now, but how can I get better when it came to our conditioning, our fitness, our strength training, our footwork stuff, all those things. She really put the time in and the work in that could lead to good things. I remember one scenario. We had an early scrimmage, our first scrimmage. And we were playing against a good Vincennes team that had really good players, and it had really good players, especially in the post. And that day showed me a lot of things about Hannah and how she was going to be ready to step up on game day, because she brought it that day and produced that day in ways that we knew she could, but I don't know if we had really seen it yet, because it was practices. So when the lights came on, those things came on, and her play certainly did. And for us as a program to count on freshmen so much, and I'm talking about all of them. It's a lot to ask, but certainly with Hannah's numbers, and she ends up third on our team in scoring. She ends up second on our team in rebounding. That's hard to do. That's hard to do coming in. And one of the things that she did was she and I had to challenge her throughout the year a couple times, just how important we needed her to be there every day to play and be ready to go too. So, lot of good things, a lot of fun stuff. I'm babbling now. I could talk, and certainly liked what I saw in the growth, and I think that she's just continued to improve, throughout this whole fall semester, and we're going to see even a better basketball player this year.
And Hannah, how excited are you to be able to play your sophomore season?
Oh, I am super excited, and I am so grateful for it because, think back to quarantine, and we weren't quite sure what was going to happen, these next few months or whatever. So I am beyond excited, and I'm so thankful that we get to have a season this year and that we even have a schedule out. So, I can't wait, and I'm super excited.
And Coach Stein, how big of a factor do you think Hannah will play this season?
Well, again, if you look back to last year, you'd just say, yeah, it's going to be big. One of the things I like about Hannah too is her whole mindset is how can she help the team win, and team player that wants to win, and I don't think she cared. If she didn't start a game last year, I don't think she would have cared. She'd have just come in and done something off the bench to help us win games, and I think she thinks that way right now. Whatever it is, I want to do what I can to help the team win. I certainly think that her production is going to be important because, again, it's the type of player she is, and being a producer is going to be part of it. One of the things that I liked as a freshman last year, excuse me, is she didn't turn the ball over much. She was good with the ball, and a lot of times that the speed of the game, the physicalness of the game, that ends up turning into turnovers and the ball going the other direction a lot of times. I think I only think Hannah had maybe 30, 34 turnovers or something like that last year, which is a pretty amazing number, starting and playing as many minutes as she did, especially as a young one. Now, don't get me wrong. I think she can help us more with the ball now too. We're going to ask her to be a better passer and flow our offense better and do, and those things come with time too, but also understanding and knowing our offense even better. Defensively, we harp on that every day, and we talk about how we need to be stoppers in there and how we can be it, and I think Hannah has the strength and the footwork to be as good a defender in the paint as she wants to be, and knowing that she's going to have to step out and play perimeter D too, because that's just the way our league is. So a lot of growth. I think, again, you're going to see an even better player this year. I think you're going to see better field goal percentage. I think you're going to see a better 3-point percentage. I think you're going to see a better free throw percentage. I think those will go up, and not that they were bad last year, but I think she's a player that can certainly be in range where they'd be talking about her in some of those league stats when it comes to percentages and shooting percentages, and again, I think we're seeing that already right now, and in her growth as a player, and I think we're going to continue to see it more as we move forward.
Thanks, Coach.
No worries.
And just to clarify some of those stats, I want to say 46% field goal percentage. That was top in the team. 11 points per game. I want to say that was second best on the team, and then 5 rebounds per game, also second best for the women's basketball team. You scored nearly 300 points your freshman year, which is outstanding. It put you third best on the team last season. Really, what was the key to your success?
I would say that it came with just playing the USI way. And I learned a lot last year before season had even started, and it was just like being consistent and relying on the things that the coaches taught us. And I just feel like it was really important when it came to like playing in the game, because obviously I was a freshman, I was young. It was my first time playing in a college setting. So it was very new to me, but I just had to rely on those things that they taught us. And that's really what helped me be successful.
And Coach Stein, did you feel like Hannah exceeded your expectations?
Last year, I absolutely. Again, because when it comes to new ones coming in, especially young ones, freshmen coming in, I don't know what to expect until I see it, and because everybody's scenario, and I've said this before, we've had outstanding freshmen come through here that didn't didn't get near the minutes that Hannah got and had near the production that she had as a freshman. Doesn't mean they weren't good. It just means that it's hard to do. I mean, it's really hard to do, and it's hard to find that consistency, like she just said, and the production to do it. When I think about the big picture, I definitely would have said, man, she expectations, she went right over the top of them. But at the same time, though, she'd be the first one to tell you that I didn't have any less expectations of her as that season went along last year. I was letting her know how important her play was and how important she showed up every day and the consistency that she brought. Because once you come to know it, then you come to expect it and need it. And I think that she stepped up to the challenge of it. And I think that's why you have a player that's on the all freshman team. A player that could have been freshman of the year in our league and in that boat, because it's so hard to do every year. What do you have? 15 teams. Each team brings 4 new freshmen. Maybe you're talking 60 players. To be one of the top 3, 4, 5 of those. It says that you're bringing it every day and you're bringing it every night, and people notice it, and you're helping your team beat other teams, and I think those things certainly show up, and they showed up with Hannah, and again I obviously did she come here to be on all freshman team? She didn't, but hard work pays off. That's pretty neat. We had a really good year, had a good team, finished second in the league, and make it an NCAA tournament. And what happens is great things happen to great players on great teams, and certainly deserving.
Hannah, it really seems like you get along with all your teammates, from what it seems like on road trips and everything else. Really get close with the rest of your class, like Addie, Tara, Lexi. It seems like all of you guys are just really close. Could you just talk a little bit about the chemistry with you and your team?
I think we're extremely close. A lot of it comes with just playing together and then hanging out. I feel like creating that bond was really important for us last year, and especially this year, just because, we're going to be together every single day on the court. So, having that friendship on and off the court, you can just definitely, you can see it in your game. So I feel like it was really important for us to get close and to get to know each other, because it's easier to play with somebody that it's easier to play with somebody that you can share chemistry, or you can learn how to help them on the court or be their teammate on the court or off the court, really. So just getting to know them was an honor to get to know them, but it was also really, really important for our success as a team and individuals.
How important is team chemistry for you, Coach Stein?
Well, I think it's huge. I think it's the topper. Obviously, talent matters, and we got to have good players, and we talk about that all the time. We bring in really good players, we bring in really good students, but outstanding people, and the people who want to be a part of something really, really, really special, and be great teammates, and have great chemistry together. I think those things can certainly put you over the top. It did help our team last year, and I don't want to talk too much about last year because it's over, but did team chemistry help our team? Absolutely. There was ups and downs that always happen in the season, and the closer you are, and the more the people you're playing with, and coaching, it certainly helps the cause. So I don't think it's by accident. Hannah said, she feels good about how that started this year, and some of our team chemistry going. I don't think it's by accident that we have it. I think it's because we have the right, mix of players and group of young women that know how important it is, and they're making it happen. As much as ever, they're making it happen, because, with COVID, we've spent less time, as coaches with them off the court, away from the court. I miss it. It's hard because we haven't had some of those fun things that you do, away from basketball because of what we're dealing with, outside of basketball with the virus. But one of the things that makes it even more important that our team is really doing it together, and they've been great. And obviously, I think it's showing up in our everyday work that we bring, to practice.
Hannah, what are some of your goals for this season?
I have a lot of goals actually for this year.
Hold on, let me get my pen. I'm gonna write these down.
Specifically, I really wanted to improve my outside game, and I know that's not with statistics or anything, but I just feel like that was really important because last year I did contribute in that way, whether it was just like sporadically or like in bits and pieces. But I just feel like that's going to be very important for me this year because being versatile is very, very important in my game, and it's a way that I can just provide for my team. And I think that I also would like to be more confident, like in handling the ball or just situations like that, because last year I was put in a lot of positions where I had the ball in my hand, whether it was in the post or at 15 feet or outside the 3. And it was very new because the speed was a lot faster. The game was a lot harder. So I really want to just, become more comfortable and confident out there. I would like to increase my percentages, obviously, just because I feel like that's a goal every single year, is just to get better constantly in those areas, whether it's gradual or it's drastic. I really want to improve there. And yeah.
Coach Stein, do you have any set goals or even expectations for Hannah this season?
Yeah, it's funny. You love to hear players talking about it and thinking about it, and how they can be better and how they can help our team better. And certainly, one of the things that you could do, as a freshman who had success, is rest on it and come back and they talk about that sophomore slump or whatever it might be, and because you just didn't prepare the same way or even more than you did the year before, and that's one of the things I like what I've seen from Hannah, because she's always striving, the mindset to keep getting better, and the mindset, how can I still be better, and setting goals for herself is part of it. Now, not she didn't say, man, I want to score 20. She's saying, how can I help our team, in different ways and be better. We talked about percentages a little bit. It's funny because when I think about some of the shots that Hannah hit last year, and the importance of some of those made baskets, and her percentage from 3, some people look at it and say, man, that's 28%, one as good as it can be. It will be better. I think she'll make more and she'll shoot better. But when I think about a couple of those threes that she made at critical times, I think about that little baseline jumper she had. AJ drives in and we drop, she drops it off to her and bangs it. Those are just every shot matters, every stop matters, every rebound matters. But boy, when you need one too, it's to have a player that has the toughness to knock one down. And I think you saw that is kind of Hannah's nature. I guess maybe her character to say. And again, I know she had done it. That's part of the recruiting thing. She had done it in high school. It's part of what she did. She was taking those big shots or making those big plays or getting that big rebound. One of the things that we need her to do is we're going to need her to get to that free throw line more for us this year. One of the things we lost in our senior class and all of them, but especially like in AJ, is a lot of free throw attempts. Players that get to the free throw line and knock down free throws and get the other team in foul trouble, and puts us in two shot scenarios and that, and Hannah certainly I think can get us there more and help us not only to just get there, but also that percentage got to go up a little bit more too, and I think it will the more attempts she has. So yeah, there's a lot of things you look to. There's a lot of things you lose every year because we always lose good players, and then you got to fill in gaps and who's going to do a little bit more of it. I think that's definitely a way Hannah can help us getting that free throw line more and getting the other team with some foul trouble too.
Hannah and I spoke very briefly before the show, just kind of touching up about how school is going and everything about that, and talked about her major pre-nursing. Personally, I'm not part of the medical field in any way, shape, or form. I cannot do any of that. But for Hannah, it seems like it's what she wants to do for the rest of her life. And Hannah, how have you been able to balance school and basketball?
I'll just go ahead and say that it was definitely an adjustment coming in from high school to college. But especially now, I feel like I have a lot more time to just kind of like relax. But with being a nursing major and just being in college in general and playing basketball, that on and off time of the court, like if you're not on the court, you have to spend that studying or making something of it. So I feel like it's been very important for me to just make sure I'm getting to our A skill hours that we have required to study, or our study table sessions, just because it's really easy to just relax, especially now with all like the COVID things happening. It's really easy to just sit back and be like, okay, I have all this free time when I'm not in the gym or I'm not shooting. So it's just been very important, and it's been pretty easy for me so far to just like study when I'm not in basketball, just because like I'm very determined in my grades and I want to improve in the classroom and on the court. So when I'm not improving my game, I'm working on school, or I'm like eating a lunch or a dinner or something like that. So I mean, it's just I have to stay very determined in my time, and that's what I do. So.
Coach, I know you were wanting to hear those words come out of her mouth. Just studying and basketball. Those are the two things
We
that
even
you
give her some time to eat, Nate. Did you hear that? She gets to eat lunch and dinner too. I mean, what else do you want?
I don't know what else you can do. Just basketball, eat, and sleep.
Eat,
I mean, what
ball,
else?
sleep. I mean, what? And school. No, there's nothing else to do.
But Coach Stein, I know you praise about academics before athletics. I know that is something that you really just praise on your players. But how will you help your players with schooling while you're on big road trips?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. That's a really hard part of what we do, because when we leave on a Wednesday and come back to a late Saturday night, there's time missed, and we've got such a great relationship with our academics here on campus, and all of our professors, our deans, and all the way up and down. We could talk about people so much. The work is still there, though. The time missed is excuse, but the work isn't. You still have to, that's one of the things that these young women and all of our student athletes will go through. Hey, when do I make up that test? When I missed all that one lab, or I missed when you miss a class, you're missing stuff. It's not like, am I going to miss anything? Yeah, you absolutely are. It's like missing a practice. Are you missing anything? Yeah, you're going to miss. So there's so many things that come into play with that. And Hannah was talking about time management and the time that she's spending outside of the classroom, outside of basketball, working on studies and things like that. Obviously, this nursing program here is one of the best in the country, and certainly outstanding selling point here to this university for anybody who wants to be in that field. But at the same time, it's not easy. And it's there, being a student and an athlete. Some people think, oh, it's got to be easy. It's hard, because that time management thing is really hard. And then you get road trips and things along those lines. These young women, they're on the bus studying. It's not like, hey, let's take a nap. I see computers out. You see, things are going, and they're working. We have study hall times on the road for sure, and times where we just say, hey, we're not going to think basketball right now. We get your studies done, take care of your business. Because if we didn't, we certainly wouldn't be putting them in a good position when it comes to academics, because it doesn't just stop because you're not in the classroom that day or we're not there. So a lot of work goes into it. Most of it, obviously, from our student athletes. As a nursing major, we've had some, and they've been outstanding students. They've been outstanding players, boy, but it's not easy. And the workload generally, comes down on the student athlete. I think both sides of the equation are always good academics, and my side, our side in athletics, to try to make it work the best. But Hannah's workload is just going to keep getting more and more and more as we move forward. But the great thing is, I think that she's prepared for that, and I think hopefully we're helping her to prepare for that, through some of the things that we do as a staff and with our program.
Just a few more questions for the both of you. First, for Hannah. First game is Rockhurst, November 27th. You had some success last year against the Hawks. 11 points, 7 rebounds, came up with a W. How will you top that performance coming up in a few weeks?
I think this year I'm definitely growing in different ways than I did last year. So I feel like that's self-explanatory anyways. But I think that this year I really want to focus on, getting that extra rebound, getting that offensive rebound, really boxing out. We've really emphasized that this year during practices, boxing out and making sure the other team doesn't get a rebound. So I feel like that's a really, really important thing coming for this first game. Scoring wise, I just want to, just play. I want to play the game, play the USI way, and that will self-produce. And I just think that coming together as a team, like we're definitely a different team this year, and I'm sure Rockhurst is also a different team, but I just feel like this year with our different chemistry and just how we're going to play this year, I feel like it'll definitely come together to be a good game.
And Coach Stein, how will you use Hannah effectively against Rockhurst?
Well, that's up to her. No, I'm kidding. You know, obviously we always try to put our players in the best scenarios and situations to be successful. And, you know, I certainly, you know, putting, you know, Hannah in you know, in a boat where she can make plays and do things on both ends of the court is definitely important. I think that's the way we think as coaches anyway. You know, where can players succeed to help us succeed? And I think that, you know, one of the things I do know is when I think about our inside play right now and the depth of it and the competitive level of it, you know, I'll go back to last year again. We started a freshman and a sophomore post, and we were young, and we were a young bunch. Obviously, Audrey was the only upperclassman we had, and heck, everybody really worked hard for each other to get better. Now this year it's a veteran bunch, and we obviously, you know, when you return Hannah and Ashlyn and Audrey and Tara, but also you're bringing in Meredith Rayleigh as a player that can play in there with us too. And I think she's hit the ground running. Our depth and our experience together has been fun to watch because we're not all new. It seemed like last year we're all new, it seemed like, and we're all young, but certainly isn't that way right now. And I think that inside group can really play well together. I think that you know, as they've gotten to know each other and that's offensively and defensively, that's one of the things that, you know, we really work hard on. I mean, and again, of course, they got to play well with the rest of the team, but they become, you know, a unit in there together and how they do things on both ends of the court. And what I've seen this year so far is how that's developed more and grown more, and maybe Hannah can talk more to that too, but there's more of a comfort level, and they're finding out things more about each other that can help us be more successful and find strengths and things along those lines. We're better passers. I've said that from day one. Our bigs got to be better passers, not only, you know, to the guards, but to each other. And again, I think that growth is something we're seeing every day, and hopefully it's going to show up on game day, because that's why you do it. Being good in practice is all right, but we want to carry it over to obviously the 27th when Rockhurst comes to town.
And this is my final question. This is just one question. It'll go for the both of you, but I want to hear Hannah's response first. What are you going to have to do to be a national champion this year?
That's a big question. Execute. Every single day, every single game, execute. Go out there, give it our all, come out on top. We emphasize great teams have great teammates. So I feel like this year we're going to be great teammates. Single day, every single game. That'd be very important for us.
And how about for you, Coach Stein? What are you going to have to do to be a national champion?
Yeah, you know what? I think what we've done is right from jump is try to take it one day at a time, day by day. Make every day a day we get better. And I think for the most part, we've really improved here early. You know, again, are we going to be playing our best basketball of the year on the 27th of November? Probably not. I hope not. I hope there's going to be better ahead. But we got to be playing well enough that day to find a W. And you know, when sometimes when you've had a team that have had success, and you know, last year we're coming off an NCAA tournament, then you forget about it's easy to forget about the daily stuff and how important it is to get better every day and how important every single game is. And that's what we've tried to stress, you know, and I've tried to stress as a coach is the importance of the everyday work of it. And why we ended up in that position last year was because we didn't, consistency is a word that Hannah just used. Yeah, we consistently try to get better. And that's what we're going to do from here all the way to the end. And yeah, if we do that, I think we got a chance to compete with anybody. And it's certainly exciting to know that there's a schedule and there's some games waiting for us, and can't wait to get them started. But we can't be worried about late March right now. What we got to be worried about is we got to get better today. And, you know, we had a chance to practice today. Can't wait to get back in the gym and see how much better we could be today, and then keep building towards a game day on the 27th and take it from there.
I want to thank the both of you for taking time out of your day to do this. It was really nice to hear from Hannah. Coach Stein, good to see and hear you again.
Appreciate that.
It's always a pleasure.
Good stuff, Nate. Thanks, man.
Thank you both for coming in this week.